Previously on Panthers Uncaged.
The NHL announcing it will be pausing the current season.
This whole thing has been so difficult because nobody's been through it.
You know, we were locked down. We didn't leave our house for a month. Weren't able to go anywhere.
Good afternoon. I am delighted to be with you today to announce the National Hockey League's plans for our resumption of play.
I think that the idea that they came up with, the 2014 play-in format, was the best option out there.
So the Cats are in the playoffs this year.
All the guys that I've spoken with, I can't wait to get on the ice. They can't wait to get back together, and they're excited about this opportunity. And so that's all you can ask for.
It's been less than 24 hours since the NHL announced Phase 2 of its return-to-play plan, and preparations are already being made for the Florida Panthers to return to the ice. Located 10 minutes north of the BB&T Center in Sunrise, the Panthers IceDen in Coral Springs will soon become the team's home away from home as they prepare for the upcoming postseason. For players, the return to work comes as a welcome reprieve following a 3-month lockdown.
I'm so excited. Even you get that feeling to go, even just to go to the rink on Wednesday to skate. You have that feeling of, it kind of reminds me of first day of school feeling where you're giddy and ready to see your friends and be able to play with everyone. But I think for me, it's I'm over the moon excited and excited to have an opportunity to play. And, I can't wait to get the skates on.
When you're not skating, it's almost tough to understand how close you are and how far you are from being ready to play. So obviously when you step on the ice for the first time, it's kind of tough. You kind of feel like you're Bambi on ice for a few minutes, but it comes quick and you start to feel good, and the motivation and the excitement picks up. And obviously, with all the talks between the NHL and NHLPA, it gets all that much more real that we know we're going to be playing soon.
But before the Panthers can hit the ice, precautions must be taken as part of the return-to-play protocol, and with the threat of COVID-19 still hanging over the world. The facility must be fully sanitized and modified in order to ensure the safety of the players. That's where Panthers head athletic trainer Dave DiNapoli and his team come in.
There's a lot of processes that we go through in order to make sure that safety is taken into consideration. It goes from like the medicines and emergency kits that we carry on the planes and in the hotels, and making sure that everything is accounted for in case something would come down the pipe. And then you get into a situation like this where the whole world just shuts down. It's like, I don't think there's anybody on the face of the earth that thought that this was going to wind up being as, debilitating to a society as it was. But at the end of the day, you're dealt that hand, and you need to play those cards.
Once preparations were completed, the first batch of players made their way to the Panthers IceDen to receive drive-through testing for the coronavirus.
This is for Tuesday. You don't need this before Tuesday, okay? What's going to happen is over the weekend, we're going to give you an appointment time. That appointment time will be Monday morning, all right? It'll be a virtual appointment with our orthopedic.
Before they can be cleared to return to the action, all of them must pass the test or face being sent right back into quarantine.
Don't cross-thread it. Yeah, just you'll hear it click. You'll feel it click.
Keeping the mood light, Panthers forward Noel Achari turned the event into a family outing.
My wife was there, with her being pregnant, she doesn't go out too much. So, I brought her and the dog, Thor, and, it was just a good family ride just to get out and do something different. And I know Jans' kids love seeing Thor. They walked him for a little bit, and, it's just stuff like that. It was fun to see these guys, and, just kind of everyone's in the same boat.
We're using a saliva-based test only because jamming a swab for a nasopharyngeal, type of test up a guy's nose twice a week is not the most comfortable. I mean, I know our guys; they're some of the toughest guys in the industry. It's commonly known how tough hockey guys are, but I tell you what, putting one of those swabs up your nose is not comfortable for anybody's.
Aware of some of the more invasive testing methods out there, players breathed a long sigh of relief upon learning that all they would have to do is spit into a test tube.
Heard about it that some teams, not some teams, like some other sports or just regular testing is like you stick something in your nose and hold it there for like half a minute, and I was definitely scared of that. But then they told us it's like a saliva test. You just spit in a little top or something, and that's way easier. So I like that. I don't mind that instead of sticking something in my nose.
Sure, the test was easier than others, but for some players, generating enough saliva proved to be harder than it looked. With all the tests coming back negative, the first group of players were given the green light to return to the rink a few days later. Immediately upon their arrival, however, they quickly learned that their usual routine would no longer fly.
Hey, Q's not coming, is he? No. Parked in his spot.
All of them were now required to wear masks and have their temperatures checked before entering the facility.
They're on 95, 6 on that.
Once inside, they would also have to follow strict social distancing rules and avoid certain areas of the locker room that they were once able to enter and exit with ease. But if all this meant being able to get back on the ice, it was worth it.
It's definitely different, just seeing all the arrows on the ground, what's blocked off, one way in, and some like you're testing as soon as you get in the rink. It's definitely it's a different feeling. But once you jump on that ice, it's just a great feeling to get back out there and in the weight room seeing some of the guys, and on that aspect, it's great to see and great to be there. But everything's changed now, and we just have to do things a lot different. But the big thing was getting back on the ice, which haven't skated in 3 months, which is different for probably everyone in the league. But, the other day going on for the first time was good.
Per the NHL guidelines for Phase 2, players are allowed to participate in small group workouts, with no more than 6 players being allowed in the facility at any given time. And with no coaches allowed to return just yet, players are put in charge of their own groups. With almost 200 combined playoff games, 4 trips to the Stanley Cup final, and 1 Stanley Cup ring between them, the veteran trio of Brian Boyle, Brett Connolly, and Noel Acciari are among the first groups to hit the ice. With the Panthers aiming to make a deep postseason run, all 3 will be counted on in the weeks and months to come.
Woo. I might die. It's my 3rd day skating. One more. Stay off club. All right. I'll give Homack another shot. I'll give it another shot. I said I'll give Homack another shot. All right.
While all 3 players are in the midst of their first season with the Panthers, Boyle stands out among the group, and not just because of his imposing 6'6", 245-pound frame. Joining the team on a 1-year deal shortly after the start of the regular season, the hulking center was brought in to serve as a hard-working role model for the team's budding young core.
We look at our lineup there, and I think you can never have enough guys that can play in the middle, that can take face-offs and has that experience.
Hoffman behind the net. Oh, and Boyle with a huge hit on Lindgren, who's down.
Played a lot of playoff games, meaningful games, big games, something that we want to get to. So there's that experience is going to come out as we go through the season, and he wants to be here, and I think it's a good fit in a lot of ways.
At 35 years old, Boyle is also one of a handful of veteran players on the Panthers, whose window to win a Stanley Cup continues to shrink faster and faster with each new season.
My fondest memories of playoff series is not on the ice, of course. Some just the range of emotions you go through when you win, how elated you feel, even through a series when you might have been down and your backs are against the wall. You face adversity every series. When you lose, those stay with you, and it reminds you how much you really do care and how much you put into things. It really is the best, most fun hockey there is. And when you turn 35, you realize that, you know, nobody's guaranteed playoffs, but your window's closing kind of quickly, and you know what motivates us as players is winning. If it was an individual thing, I don't think the drive is there. I think it goes away quicker when you have a group of people collectively pulling the same rope. I think even if you have a bad day, the rest of the guys will pull you back in, and it just it means that much more because you guys, as a unit, as a group, you collectively can accomplish great things. And that's the opportunity to do that is as exciting as it gets.
As for any concerns over the coronavirus, Boyle, a cancer survivor who missed part of the 2017-18 campaign while being treated for chronic myelogenous leukemia, said he hasn't had to take any extra precautions and has been in contact with his doctor throughout the pause. Heading into the postseason, he's feeling just like another one of the guys.
Ready to go. Shooter!
Off the ice, players are also starting to get back to work in the gym. While quarantining at home over the past 3 months, most had to make do with what they had around the house in order to stay in shape. And with training camp only a few weeks away, getting their bodies back into peak physical condition is one of the main goals during Phase 2.
By the time training camp rolls around and we start doing drills where we're one-on-one against somebody and really, battling for a puck, we won't be in that shape. But I'm pretty lucky here at the house. I've got a decent gym. I've got the shooting range in the garage. And now that we're on the ice, obviously it's easy to get in really good shape. There are some time constraints, and obviously considering we only get 3 days a week on the ice, I think a lot of our time is really spent on the ice.
It's 1 foot, eh? 1 foot. There you go. Command it. Let's go. Nice pickup. Two goals, if anybody was wondering.
In the gym, it's up to a small group of trainers, including head strength and conditioning coach Mike Donahue, to help players shake off any rust that built up during the pause.
So pretty much, I would recommend, the biggest thing is going to be skating the first couple days. If we're going to warm up, do an extended warm up, and then I would do some upper body and let your legs get worked on the ice. That's what I would recommend. I post it up on the TV as usual and go through what you'd like to go through. You know what's good is I can just ice you with this mask on. You don't know if I'm smiling, nothing.
When it comes to hard work, Panthers captain Alexander Barkov sets the standard.
We've gone 3 pretty hard days in a row, double. So once you get about a half hour, once you go through abdominal series, we'll just kind of warm up easy today. And if you feel like a little bit after, we can. If not, don't worry about it.
Eager to return to the ice as soon as possible, the superstar center skipped the warm-up phase on his first day back at the rink, choosing instead to dive head first into a high-energy bag skate.
He's our best player, there's no doubt about it. He's our captain, he's our leader. And he leads by example in the gym and on the ice. So the way he is prepared, I know that everyone's going to be following it for sure. And on top of that, I know every Panthers fan and every player on our team is picturing in their mind Barkey holding the Stanley Cup.
And although added safety precautions made it take a little longer than usual for him to get from his car to the ice, Barkov isn't being picky after being stuck inside for 3 months.
I like it because, it's really safe. Like, everything is organized and everything is like, you don't get to touch too many things. You don't get to touch other guys or anything. But at the same time, of course, you want to be as normal as you can. Like, you want to use everything at the gym. You want to, I don't know, maybe play one-on-one with somebody on the ice, but I know it's probably not the situation we are right now. But I mean, I'll take it. I get to be on the ice 3 times a week. I'll take it.
Leading by example, Barkov's unmatched work ethic and dedication is infectious among his teammates, including some he hasn't had a chance to share the ice with yet. Joining the team is part of a multiplayer deal with Carolina at the trade deadline in February. Rookie defenseman Chase Prisky crossed paths with Barkov on his first day. As one of a small handful of AHL players that received the call to join the Panthers in training camp, the local Pembroke Pines native knows he can learn a lot from the soft-spoken captain.
There are a lot of mixed emotions, honestly. Like, being a Florida Panther is something extremely special to me now. Growing up, I played for the Junior Panthers from the time I put on skates to the time I left for prep school, and like, my dad worked at BB&T Center. He was one of the cooks for the team, so I spent a lot of time like hearing from him about the team, and then spending a lot of time at the arena when he was working, watching games. So I must have seen 200, 300, 400 Panther games, and it's crazy kind of how things have come full circle. It's never something I imagined, but to kind of be living it is just kind of living the dream, as people would say.
Although he's a lifelong Panthers fan, Prisky isn't satisfied just wearing the team's jersey in practice. And when the team begins its postseason run later this summer, he believes he can make an impact.
There are a ton of guys from Florida that have gone on and made a name for themselves in the NHL, but no one has kind of made an impact for the Panthers. And I mean, hopefully being the first kid from, I would say, Sunrise to play for the Panthers, just kind of to inspire that next group of generation that it is a possibility and you can play in the NHL and it's not out of reach, and just to kind of stick with it and just continue to work and just believe in yourself.
As for his first day on the job, getting a few pointers from Barkov was pretty surreal.
I grew up playing at the IceDen, or Incredible Ice as I call it, and just being on the other side and being welcomed into the Panthers facility, and the first day you're not really sure where you're supposed to be, or you don't want to overstep, but being welcomed by management and staff, and especially by Barkey, was extremely cool. And then to get on the ice and work with him was just kind of incredible. And I don't want to say it's like a you've made it moment, but to be there and to be welcomed by Barkey was extremely cool.
Despite spending more than 3 months off the ice during the pause, Barkov clearly never lost his touch. Now in his 7th season with the Panthers, the 24-year-old's goal is the same as it was when the team selected him 2nd overall in the 2013 NHL draft.
We want to be like consistent playoff team, and we want to make playoffs every year, but the only thing you can handle is what are you doing like right now, for the next week, for the next month. That's all you can handle, and you can think about like next year, okay, we're gonna make playoffs next year. You gotta make them this year, you gotta compete in them, you gotta start winning in them, and really good group of guys. We can do it. We have a lot of help from our coaching staff and all the trainers and everybody, so it's gonna be fun time.
It's time for the team to make some noise in the playoffs, and with their return to work, that journey has just begun.
Next time on Panthers Uncaged.
It is a little alarming just to see the spikes that have been going on.
I watch the news pretty much every day. I get the updates all the time. I see all the cases jumping and spiking every day. At the same time, I want everybody to be safe.